Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Hope you got some rest because we are certainly in for a wild week. Earnings, Fed, jobs report, you name it. We are just absolutely slammed every day. Today we started off with a busy one. Averages new 52-week highs. You got Merger Monday. You got some big reports. I mean, it's gonna be a wild one, and you know how I operate. I like to get those game plans in place. That's why I do those videos on Friday. That's why I spend the time over the weekend, kind of like breaking down some setups, looking at some options. Just because when things really start to get crazy into like the middle of the week, when you have hundreds of names reporting on the same night, it kind of like declutters things for me. It kind of helps me like narrow my focus on a certain area, on a certain few names, right? Just so you're not like super overwhelmed, because honestly it can be just overwhelming. That's the word to describe it sometimes, when there's just so many earnings reporting on the same night. Um, that being said, obviously, like the more names you play, then the odds are it means more stocks you're going to have to manage after, right? So if you play a bunch of options on a bunch of different names during the week, then that means you're going to have a bunch of different positions you need to manage. And like I always say, it would be fantastic if every single trade worked out according to plan, popped or dropped massively the next day. You could close out your position and wipe your hands of it and be done. But obviously, that doesn't always happen. Sometimes things don't work the way you want. Sometimes it comes down to trade management after the catalyst plays out, and it's more premium recovery or salvage mode, right? I've done videos talking about my expectations after the event, and then how I go about managing things. So it's either premium recovery, which is trying to get 80% plus of the original debit, or salvage mode for shorter term options, which is trying to get basically as much as I possibly can, right? So it's going to come down to time frame, and it's also going to come down to the strategy. Now, Snap, okay? So Snap is up here. Snap, going into earnings, you could see year to date, I mean, it was just in like a really great uptrend, right? And it broke the uptrend. A lot of the momentum stocks got hit in September. Snap fell into that basket, rolled over, and you can see it was underneath trend support. It was underneath the 100-day. It was underneath the 50-day, 20-day, 8 EMA, right? So it was under a bunch of moving averages. It was under like the yearly uptrend. But I mean, for the most part, the numbers have been pretty solid all year. So I felt like the way like the stock set up, or the way the options set up, that it was kind of an interesting strategy for a call fly, because I didn't think that I was more bullish biased, and B, I didn't think that you were gonna see the same type of move that you saw in July, just because a lot of these momentum stocks were kind of struggling to really put together good bounces. So for Snap, I was bullish biased, but I was looking for a more marginal move, so something back into the trend, so back above like this trend support, these moving averages, something into like the 16 area. Okay, so but because options were expensive, I needed some sort of strategy to get the implied volatility, get the overall debit down. So that's why I went with this week's call flies. Okay, so it was a 15, 18, 21 call flies. Now, um, I thought the numbers were good. The stock, not so much. You could see it got hit, right. This was the day it reported it got hit, and because the options, because the call flies were very short term, the premiums just got smashed. Okay, because stock went the other way. Short term options premiums get smashed. So what I do is I like to give these things 2 to 3 days. That's my rule. 2 to 3 days for them to find some direction. Okay, because sometimes like the first day can be a little bit of a head fake. Maybe it's unpredictable. Maybe it's more of like expectations were too high. Maybe it just was in line, but then things start to, you get like some follow through after the analysts start to weigh in. The buy side starts to get more comfortable with the story, right? So I get like things that don't move initially, or maybe not necessarily my favor. I like to give 2 to 3 days. Stop on Snap. We instituted like a new stop after at the 200 days, so it didn't break the 200-day. And now you can see 3 days later it's come storming back. So short-term options, Still has a lot of work to do, and it's still not at the 15 strike. So as much as I would love to see it up in the 16 area, it's just not there. Realistically, there's only 4 days left until expiration. So for me, that's more premium recovery or salvage mode, right? I'm just trying to get what I can out of the position because it didn't play out the way I wanted to. I gave the 2 to 3 days. It came back. The premiums came back. I'm able to get some of the premium back out of it. And my plan now, after closing this out, is to wait and see if it can reset. Because like this to me, the 50, 100 day, very very important because that resets like the year-to-date uptrend. So I'll be watching to see if we can get through that. If it does, then maybe I'll reevaluate it for a swing trade. But for right now, catalyst trade played out. Gave the 2 to 3 day rule. That means that my focus shifts to premium recovery or salvage. So that's why today it was closed out. All right. So if you guys have any questions about how I manage these things after, or if you have any questions about the snap trade, or maybe some trade that I talked about last week, or maybe some open trade, reach out because I'd love to hear from you guys. If you like these videos, or if you're looking for trade ideas or maybe some options education, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. All right. Have a wonderful night, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.